Greeting Honda family, this is Michael Kao with Victory Honda in Plymouth, Michigan, and today we're going to be checking out the new 2020 Honda Odyssey and the EXL trim level. Alright everyone, so first and foremost I want to start off with the key fob here. Now this key fob will look like most Honda key fobs that have keyless entry in the last couple of years. A couple of things that will make it different that is on the back, there will be a driver number here. So your car will come with two driver keys. One will say driver 1 and the other one will say driver 2, and what those coincide with is going to be for the safe seat settings for the driver side here. Now on the other side of the key fob here, you're going to see a combination of buttons. You're going to get your traditional lock as well as your unlock here. You will get automatic door openers for both sides as well as for the hatch. And then last but not least is going to be this little almost complete circle button, and what this button will do is it will actually start up the vehicle. So as long as your doors are completely locked here, if you were to hit this button, which is a little bit harder to hit than the rest of the buttons, and you hold it until the lights blink, the vehicle will start here. The vehicle will start, it'll stay on for 10 minutes and then shut itself off. But if you needed to, you could go ahead and hit that button again after it shuts off and it'll restart the vehicle for you. Another thing that you could do too is that if you do go into the refrigerator and realize, hey, you don't need to go get groceries, you can hit the circle button again until the light blinks and it will go ahead and shut that car off for you. Another nice thing about the key fob is that at any point, if you were to run out of battery in the vehicle, you still can get into the car and wait inside of the vehicle while you call for help. Here is the new 2020 Honda Odyssey in the EXL colorway. This version here that I did pull up, this is going to be with the black exterior and the dark mocha interior. This is a 3.5 liter engine, has a towing capacity of 3,500 pounds, V6 engine, puts out about 280 horse, 10-speed variable here. Beautiful vehicle. A couple of other things too that I always like to point out is that there is only a handful of cars out there in the world that has never had a fatality, and this is Honda's right here. There has never been a fatality in this vehicle, so it's not only the perfect vehicle for your family, but also the safest. Vehicles is that we do use one locking bolt to prevent theft of the rims, as well as we fill all of our tires with nitrogen. So nitrogen is a bigger molecule. It means that you're just going to have to deflate or inflate your tire less often due to season changes. You don't have to worry about hitting a latch for your gas. The gas cap is as simple as this. Pushing it in, it'll just pop back out for you. You can open it up. It is capless as well. So you would just put the nozzle in there, fill it up with gas, and take it out. You don't have to worry about getting that nozzle on there or having to worry about any type of air sensor within the fuel line. And then you just snap it right back into place there. Alright, so as we walk up to the driver's side here, you will kind of notice that if you do have the key fob in hand or in your pocket in the surrounding area, when you touch the door handle here, you will hear a little beep. That beep is just letting you know that it is unlocking the door for you here. And right here is going to be the front cabin for the driver and passenger. Now for the side doors here, it works the same way as well. You will hear a little bit of a beep. When you pull the handle, it will open up automatically. Now there's not only just this door here, but also on the other side, and both windows will also go down. Another nice thing is that there is multiple ways to kind of open up these side doors. There's going to be buttons for the second row here, as well as buttons in the front row right next to the steering wheel. Now as we walk back here, this is going to be the back hatch. Couple of ways that you can open it up. One is through the key fob here, but there will also be a button. It's a little square button that's going to be right underneath the H here, and if you hit that, it will go up. A couple of very nice things that come with this hatchback door too is that you can adjust the height if you do have a low ceiling, and it's as simple as kind of pulling it to the height that you want it to be at and long holding this button until it beeps twice. Another nice thing too is that the back third row here, it will fit 3 comfortably if they are small, or 2 people if it is full-size adults here. But another nice thing though is that if you didn't need to use it, it's very simple to kind of stow away this back row here. And it's as simple as kind of just taking this tab, pulling it, and it will just drop in. Now both sides will kind of go, it is a 60-40 split. Both sides will kind of lay flat, and then it will create a flat surface here for you, which, give me 1 second and I'll show you here how that is done. So here is the back opening for you, plenty of room the way that it is. Another thing that you can also do is that you can remove the center console as well as the second row seating as well for a little bit more storage or moving room. For you to get the third row back until its original mode here, it's as simple as kind of just flipping it forward and pulling this back until it clicks. Super simple, super easy, and it doesn't take all that much force in order to do so. And one of the most special things about this vehicle too is going to be the second row here. Within the second row, you can take out all of the seats as well as that center console there, but it also gives you a couple of other choices as well. Especially if you do have a bigger size family, and there are going to be people in the third row on most occasions. This one actually has what they call a magic glide, and what that magic glide is going to be this little thing here that you could squeeze. Give me 1 second and let me get it set up so that I could show you exactly what it does. So from here, if you wanted to put down this top row, you can take out the center console. All right, folks. So once you take out the center console in the second row, you've pretty much turned your second row into captain's chairs here. But the nice feature about that magic glide that I was just talking to you about is that if you did need to get back into the third row, no need to kind of climb over anybody in these captain's chairs. It's as simple as this. If you were to just grab this handle here, you can actually move the seat forward. And also for the second row here, if you were planning on either taking them out or possibly just kind of putting one side down, there is a couple of different ways that you can go about this. First and foremost is going to be this little lever back here, and this lever will essentially slide the chair forward as well as doing the decline for the actual back of the seat there. Another way that you could go about kind of just leaving it the way that it is and providing a little bit more room in the third row is kind of just declining the seat fully forward. This method here with this one, it prevents the seat from also sliding forward. Now another thing that you could do within this position as well too is that you can unlatch this, tilt the chair forward, and it'll come out of the vehicle completely there for you. All right, so just to kind of round off the third and the just to round off the second and third row here, there is climate controls up in the front, but there is also a climate control in the second row at the top ceiling. The reason for this placement too is also so that if there are little ones in the car, that they're not consistently kind of hitting or tapping any of the buttons. It is a little bit further away for them, but you will also get climate control options in the front center console that will apply for the second and third row here. One last thing is that when you're sitting in the second row here, you will also see that you do get some drink cup holders, but right underneath it you do get a couple of latches. Now when you open up these latches, they will provide you with USB charging ports for the second and third row here. Both of these charging ports are going to put out at 2.5 amps. So not only is it able to kind of charge any smartphone on the market properly, but it will also charge most tablets as well. Now we're inside the vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the different features as well as some of the different options that we have inside of the vehicle. So first and foremost, we do have a one-touch moonroof here. So simply just hitting the button once will open up the window all the way up at the top. Now you can manually determine how far open you would like to have it, but closing it would be the same as opening it. If you hit the close button one time, it will just close up all the way. Now if we're looking at the actual controls here, these are going to be the controls, and you're going to want to pull it towards the direction that you want the window to open. Another thing that you can also do is you could also push in the button as well, and that will produce a little bit of a tilt there for you just to have the back part of the window open. Another thing too within this control panel is going to be your push lights as well as how you would like those push lights to work. As of right now, it's on the setting where when you open up the door, the lights will turn on, but you can manually turn them off or turn them on yourself. Last thing up here with the options that are going to be in this top console part is going to be the sunglass holder here. There's something very special about the sunglass holder, so if it's opened up all the way, you can't put your glasses up here. But if you were to just turn it up halfway, it'll allow you to have a mirror so that you could have a conversation with the people behind you without having to take your eyes off the road. Honda does quite a few things like this to try and keep your eyes on the road as much as possible. The next thing that they also do too is that right here is going to be an indicator within this square part right here. That indicator now, anytime that somebody is coming up on that side of the car or within your blind spot, even if they're behind you and they're just starting to move over to kind of get around you or possibly get in the lane next to you, this will flash a bright orange. It is going to represent an icon where there is a car, two cars close to each other, and there's some sound waves that are between the two. And that's just letting you know that the sensor is picking up that there is a vehicle within your blind spot. This little square indicator here is also available over on the passenger side as well. Right, so moving to the next piece of equipment is going to be the rear view. Now this is an auto dimming rear view. So at night, when there is cars behind you, it's not going to be so bright where it's going to blind you within your rear view mirror. Now underneath the rear view mirror, there is going to be 3 buttons. These are going to be for smart garage doors. Even if you don't have a smart garage door opener, this will kind of work with some garage door openers by using the actual garage door opener along with the sensors up here. The middle one here, this button right here, is actually going to turn off your auto dimming rear view as well. So now this is going to be your main media console here. It's going to let you select all of your music sources. Now with the EXL Model Y 2, you are also going to get Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto. And you might be asking, what are those things? So those are both things that have been integrated within the vehicle. So when you do plug in your phone through the regular charging cord that you would normally use at home into the vehicle, it will activate Android Auto or Apple CarPlay depending on what manufacturer phone that you have. And what those two things will do is it's essentially going to turn the center display into almost like a smaller size tablet for you. All of the icons that are represented on your phone will carry over and they will look exactly the same. Just makes it a little bit more intuitive to kind of get around your media and to make selections as you go. Now if we are kind of just looking at the center console without having the Apple CarPlay or the Android Auto on, it is going to give you a bunch of different choices so that you can kind of customize it the way that you want. You can change color schemes, you can change the color of the tabs as well, but it will cycle through, give you all of the major tabs or options that you might have. Now another nice thing too is that if you were to go under settings here and we go under vehicle, it will allow you to kind of change all the different options within the doors, tailgate, stuff like that for your vehicle. Now a nice thing too that I always like to point out is this little tab right here on the touchscreen. This will allow you to adjust your brightness so that at night you can put it onto a night mode so the screen is not blinding you as you're driving. Now right below that is going to be your climate controls here. So in this specific vehicle here, you are actually going to get 3 different climate zones. It's going to be between the driver, the passenger, as well as the second row. And the second row is going to be represented up at the top of the ceiling console on the passenger side. Like I had referred to earlier. Now within here, you can kind of make a bunch of different selections. You will be able to adjust your fan speed through here, as well as turn on and off of the fan as you would like. These 2 tabs right here are going to allow you to adjust your temperature. So you will see that right now that on my side of the car, it is going to be going up to 67, and on the other side there, it's still set at low. Now if I was to drop off the person over in the passenger side and I decided that I wanted everything to be the same as what is represented on my side, all you would have to do is just hit the sync button, and it's always going to sync it over to the primary person, which is the driver here. Now next to it, you also have another button called Auto, and what this Auto button will do is that if you just wanted to set the computer or set the climate and just have the computer kind of take over, it's super simple. All you have to do is just set it to the temperature that you would like to be at and hit Auto. Now the car's computer will take over and kind of get you to that temperature as fast as possible. Now there's going to be a couple other buttons here. This one is going to regulate the way that you would like to circulate air into the vehicle, whether it's from outside or just circulating it within the inside cabin. You also get a front climate button, which will give you a representation of all of the different options on the digital screen here, and you can kind of touch it and make it change, as well as your different modes, such as through the vent, through to your face, to your feet, combination of all of those things. Now you also do get a button for the rear climate zone as well, and those will kind of give you almost the same options, as well as allowing you to kind of lock or set it to auto as well. Now the last two buttons here that I'm going to kind of cover are going to be your front defrosters and also your rear defrosters. The one thing that makes the rear defroster special is that not only will it defrost your rear window, but it will also defrost your side mirrors as well. So now on the new 2020 models here, there is no longer a traditional shifter. It is all going to be push button between your drive and sports mode, your neutral button here, as well as your park button here. The one button that is going to be different than all three of those, just for safety purposes, is going to be your reverse button here. And what you would want to do is put your foot onto the brake and pull that button the way that you would like the vehicle to move. That is always kind of the simplest way to kind of remember how to function with that reverse button there. I'm going to put it back in park here. Now on both sides of the dial for the drive modes here, you will get heated seats on both sides. There is going to be 3 levels of heated seats here for you on both sides for the driver as well as the passenger. Now below that here, you're also going to have your hazards here, which will turn on your blinkers. And then on the other side here, you're going to get 3 buttons. And those buttons are going to be for your econ mode. And what the econ mode will do is restrict parts of the engine and the electrical systems from working at full capacity. It's going to try and take that saved energy and convert it into additional mileage there for you. The button that's going to be above that is going to be your snow button, and that will let you cycle between a normal and snow mode. And what makes the snow mode so much different is that it will actually turn the wheel slow so that you don't bury yourself within snow or sand. And once that wheel turns and it gains traction, then it'll give it the power so that it could boost you outside of that rather than kind of burying you within it. Very last button up here is going to be for your idle off. So on a lot of the new 2020 models, they do come with an idle off option on the vehicle, and that option is essentially going to, when you come to a complete stop, it's going to make it sound like that your engine is shutting off. Now if that's an option that you don't care for, you can shut it off through here. And it's super simple. All you have to do is just hit the button there. All right, moving on. So this button right here is going to be for your engine start as well as your engine stop. It is just kind of your on and off button. It will require that you put your foot on the brake in order to either turn on or off of the vehicle. The nice thing is that the key fob no longer has to be plugged in somewhere into the car. Now you can just have it either on your persons or even in the center console tray there. But that will be your on and off button there. Alright, so on this specific model of vehicle, you also do get the Honda Sensing package. And what that Honda Sensing package is kind of our Honda safety package. And it consists of 4 separate things. One is going to be your adaptive cruise control. One is going to be your lane keep assist systems. And then you also have a collision prevention as well as a collision mitigation. Collision mitigation works in the event of an accident kind of coming out of nowhere, and what it's going to do is apply full brakes to try and minimize the amount of kinetic energy that is either being passed through the vehicle or through yourself. Collision prevention is essentially going to warn you at any point that if the computer in the car thinks that you're going too fast to safely stop, it's going to warn you in succession on your odometer screen twice. And then at that point, if you still have not started to brake, it will start to apply the brakes for you. Last 2 things on it will be represented on the screen, and that will also tell you whether or not the Honda Sensing package is on. And those 2 things are going to be your adaptive cruise control as well as your lane keep assist systems. Your lane keep assist systems are going to keep you within the driving lines. If you ever deviate outside of those driving lines without turning on a turn signal, what it will do is it's going to give you a low vibration in the steering wheel as well as a low beep to tell you to kind of correct course. Very last thing is going to be for your adaptive cruise control, and let me show you on the steering wheel how that goes. So on the steering wheel here on the right hand side, you're going to see your traditional kind of cruise control options. Now this cruise control is going to be a little bit different. Still works the same way. If you were to get up to speed and hit set, the car will kind of take over and keep you cruising there. The thing that makes this different than your typical cruise control is going to be for the fact that in Honda vehicles we have something that's called the adaptive cruise control, and what that will do is a low speed follow for you. So once you have it set, After a couple minutes, the actual computer within the vehicle is going to kind of determine the flow of traffic, and it will actually start to apply the brakes as well as the accelerator there for you, which is really nice. Now another thing too is that if you didn't want those things on, you could essentially just hit this button that says main here, and that will turn on and off your Honda sensing package. The button right next to it is going to be to pick up dotted lines. As far as driving lines go, on the freeways you are going to get more dotted lines than you are going to have solid lines, and that will just help pick that up. Above it here, you're going to see everything looks almost the same except for this one button right here on the right. And what that button is for is that it will allow you to set the distance that you would like to be from the vehicle in front of you. Now each one of these squares is going to be roughly about 4 feet, so in general it will do at least 2.5 car lengths away from the vehicle or the object that is in front of you. Over here on the left hand side, you're going to get a bunch of different controls for your media sources as well as for your telephone. So if you have the phone hooked up through a cord and it has activated Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you can still kind of pick up phone calls with this button here, as well as hang up phone calls here. This very last button with the face icon here, if you were to long press it with the phone plugged into the vehicle, it will actually activate OK Google or Hello Siri, whichever one that you prefer. Now if your phone was not hooked up through the Apple CarPlay or the Android Auto and it was just connected through Bluetooth, these buttons will essentially work almost the same as well. And what they will do is they will pick up calls, hang up calls, as well as doing a talk to text there for you. Over here is going to allow you to kind of skip tracks or go backwards on tracks, as well as a volume rocker here. Now these two buttons, as well as the enter button and the up down button, what those are going to be mainly used for is going to be for your center screen. Here's your odometer screen here, and it is going to have that digital dash that's going to be below it, and you can kind of customize it to whatever you would like, and you could do so just by hitting this home button right here, and it will pop up this screen, and you could kind of cycle through different things that it'll tell you. I typically will always just kind of leave it on the trip computer, just for the simple fact that it will tell you exactly how many miles are left on the current amount of gas that's in the vehicle, which I find to be always really helpful. Now over here, you will see a couple of different buttons here. Now you do have your open and your close for your side doors, as well as locking them or turning them on. The locking feature just makes it so that if there's children in the second or third row, that they can't just open up the door or unlock the door themselves. Over here, these buttons are just going to help you turn off a couple of things manually, so you can kind of turn off your traction control, as well as your lane keep assist independently, and also your forward or backwards collision sensors. And the reason kind of for that is that if possibly if you were going to, let's say, a concert or maybe a sports event, you might be directed to kind of park very close to another vehicle or to back up against the building. This will just prevent the sensors from kind of flashing and blinking off, so as not to startle you and also not to take up any type of realty on your digital screens there. This is going to be for your back tailgate, and then below it you're going to get a couple of new buttons here. So there's no longer an emergency pull or step brake. Now it is just going to be an electronic one, and it could be used by either putting your foot on the brake and pressing it forward, and disengaging it by pulling it towards you. And then the nice thing too is that with the electronic emergency brake, you also do get a brake hold button. And what that brake hold button will do is it'll allow you to hit that button at like a red light, or if you are in a parking lot, it'll allow you to hit that button so that you could take your foot off of the brake without the car moving. Now, there's no need to disengage that button either. The car is actually so smart that once you hit the accelerator, it'll just know to manual or automatically kick you off of that mode. You will have some adjustments too for your steering wheel here, and it does telescope as well as kind of move up and down. And then once you get it to the place that you would like, you just have to lock it back in place like that. So over on the driver's side door here, you are going to see some controls that look pretty familiar. And those controls are going to be for your windows here. But then you also have a window lock button, a lock or unlock button, and then this will also help you to kind of move your rear view mirrors so that you get a better view. Now last but not least on the driver's side door is going to be these buttons right here. And these buttons are just going to coincide with your save seat settings. So if you do get the seat exactly the way that you want it, all you would have to do is hit set and then the button that correlates with the back of whatever key fob that you have on you. Alright, well thank you. I appreciate your patience while I kind of explained everything within the vehicle. All that's kind of left now is for you to kind of take it out and see if it's going to fit what you need it for. Please, if you do have any questions about it, always feel free to contact me here at Victory Honda in Plymouth, Michigan. The phone number is 734-453-3600. Thank you and have a good day. My name is Michael. And again, you could always contact the dealership if you have any questions or need any help. Thank you.